Before the chicken craze of the 1970s, how did summer taste? It featured some strangely satisfying soups like corn chowder and some amazing treats like cinnamon-baked apples. There's no way we're letting these foods get lost in time, is what we said, and we now want them returned. Egg cream comes first. You'll discover how delicious this New York fountain drink is once you get over the fact that it doesn't contain any cream or egg. In a tall glass, combine cold milk, chocolate syrup, and carbonated seltzer. Let's just say that a properly prepared glass of egg cream should resemble a straw blown full of bubbles containing chocolate milk. The beverage is thought to have been invented in the early 1900s, and Louis Oster, a Jewish candy store owner in Brooklyn, is frequently given credit for its invention. According to legend, it sold up to 3,000 glasses every day, but he passed away with his trade secret. Now that you can picture yourself sipping this on a sweltering summer day, you can see why it should return. What a delightful treat. Moving on to our next forgotten summer meal, beans and franks, while we're on the subject of sweets. On days when you don't feel like cooking, this is the easy dinner you should prepare for yourself. A tasty dish called beans and franks is made by combining baked beans with sliced hot dogs. In the past, ads for beans and franks promoted the meal as a quick and satisfying meal that was ideal for busy households, and it gained popularity as a convenience food in the 1970s. The hot dogs added a smoky flavor, and the canned beans gave the dish a sweet, tangy base. You know how good a meal has to be that it gets its own day? Yes, it's National Beans and Franks Day on July 13th. Even though Frank Van Camp, the dish's creator, did not decide to combine pork and beans and tomato sauce on that particular day, you will still need a can of baked beans and a few hot dogs to make a batch. All you have to do is chop the hot dogs into small pieces, combine them with the beans, and warm the mixture over the stove until the flavors combine and everything is hot. Like this corn chowder, I have no doubts it will taste amazing and be the ideal evening meal. That 1970s corn chowder craze was huge. Fresh corn, potatoes, onions, and either milk or cream are combined to create this creamy dish. You can just imagine how delicious it tasted to have everything we wanted on one plate. The origins of corn chowder can be found in New England, where it gained popularity as a way to finish off summer corn. It was the kind of meal that was typically served at community events and family dinners, and it was cooked in Grandma's kitchen. The corn chowder was delicious as a main course or as an appetizer. In the past, it was a mainstay in coastal towns where seafood variations were also well liked. The meal is tasty and nourishing because it is full of vitamins and minerals. Look how fantastic that looks. All the evidence you need to resurrect this popularity is that. The same is true of chicken pot pie. In the 1970s, chicken pot pie was the ultimate evening meal, warming many people's hearts and stomachs. This pie has a tender crust that is stuffed with a flavorful blend of chicken, veggies, and creamy gravy. Diced chicken and vegetables are cooked in a creamy broth to make chicken pot pie, which is then baked in a dish lined with pastry until it turns golden brown. Although the pie's origins can be traced to the first American settlers, it gained popularity once more as a family favorite in the 1970s. Everybody's Face featured KFCs in the advertisements. A few of us preferred the easy access of frozen forms, and homemade chicken pot pie was saved for Sunday evenings. Tell me once more why we stopped producing these. Who says that the days of scalloped potatoes are over? Thinly sliced potatoes are the base of this traditional casserole, which is layered with a rich, velvety sauce consisting of milk, butter, and flour. Shredded cheese is frequently added on top. There is a long history of scalloped potatoes. Versions of the dish can be found in American cookbooks dating back to the 1800s. It had become a standard dish at holiday feasts, potlucks, and family get-togethers by the 1970s. The dish was promoted as a one-skillet sensation and frequently appeared in commercials. Imagine scooping out a portion and feeling the tender potatoes and creamy, cheesy sauce fill your mouth. That feels really good. The same sensation that Texas toast gives me. You could describe this summertime dish as a little piece of heaven. You'll see why it became a summer barbecue staple in the 1970s. Extra thick white bread slices are the base for Texas toast, which is then liberally buttered on both sides and frequently topped with cheese or garlic. Typically, the slices are broiled or grilled until they are soft and fluffy inside and golden and crispy outside. But hold on, how did Texas end up being the only state with a toast? Its creator, a manager at a pig stand in Beaumont, Texas, reportedly ordered double-thick bread to wow guests. However, the thick slices were too big to fit in the toaster, so he toasted and buttered them directly on the grill. Backyard barbecues frequently featured Texas toast, which goes well with grilled meats and chilled salads. Texas toast is always a hit, whether it's eaten for breakfast, as the base of a sandwich, or as an accompaniment to a flavorful steak dinner. Now let's raise a glass to Welsh rarebit, another overlooked 1970s classic. Welsh rarebit is a British-inspired dish that begins with a smooth cheese sauce made of beer, mustard, sharp cheddar, and a touch of Worcestershire sauce. Despite having nothing to do with rabbits, it originated in Britain in the 18th century and was first known as Welsh rabbit. It was a common common meal in many American homes by the 1970s, usually served for lunch or as a filling snack. Rarebit was even featured in Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's cookbook, which was created to go along with the Welcome to Wrexham Hulu series. Welsh rarebit looks to be making a resurgence, and I'm all for it. However, I also want to see crescent rings again on my dinner table. A little more entertaining than a traditional crescent roll are crescent rings. Crescent roll dough is arranged into a circle filled with a sweet mixture and baked until golden brown to create these delectable rings. Cream cheese and fruit preserves, ham and cheese, or even pizza toppings were common fillings. Potlucks, picnics, and family get-togethers were big hits with the crescent rings. They became a go-to dish for home cooks and busy hosts who wanted to impress because of how convenient it was to use pre-made dough. They frequently appeared in newspaper food sections and cookbooks from the 1970s. Let's move on to our next delicious throwback to the 1970s, berry compote. This recipe is made up of frozen or fresh berries that have been cooked down with sugar, lemon juice, and sometimes other ingredients to create a sweet and tangy sauce that is great on top of yogurt, pancakes, or ice cream. For extra flavor depth, some versions included a hint of cinnamon or a dash of vanilla. Taking full advantage of the abundance of berries in summer, families enjoyed it for breakfast, dessert, or even as a snack. Berries make a visual and culinary treat, and this luscious texture and vibrant color combination is ideal for serving to guests or spending time with the family. In relation to sharing meals, we used to make cinnamon-baked apples as a family, but stopped for some reason. During the Great Depression, when everyone was cooking inexpensive meals, this dessert first appeared. To enhance the texture and flavor of the filling, some families included nuts or raisins. Anyone's mouth would water at the sight of golden apples right out of the oven. This dessert was great as an after-dinner treat or for summertime picnics and barbecues. They were reasonably priced, nutrient-dense, and a good source of fiber and vitamins. Given that apples and cinnamon have been shown to have antioxidant qualities, this dessert option is comparatively healthful. With apples, you can't go wrong, not with root beer floats anyway. Root beer floats are a strange but delicious summertime beverage. This traditional dessert combines fizzy root beer with creamy vanilla ice cream. Although root beer floats have been a popular beverage since the early 1900s, their popularity really took off in the 1970s. On August 19, 1893, Frank J. Wisner, the proprietor of Creek Brewing in Colorado, was recognized for having invented the first root beer float. Since then, a whole day has been set aside to celebrate the drink, and it has appeared in advertisements. On August 6th, individuals get together with ice cream and root beer to create the ideal root beer float. It's a treat worth bringing back, especially with the refreshing root beer and cold, creamy ice cream. Tang Pie is also on the same flight. If the name Tang sounds familiar, it's an orange beverage that's been used by NASA on space missions for a long time. To make Tang Pie, blend sweetened condensed milk, whipped topping, and Tang powder until smooth. Fill graham cracker crust with this smooth, orange-flavored filling, then refrigerate until set. The outcome is a tart and bright pie that is both nostalgic and refreshing. Tang was a household staple, so when Tang Pie came along in the 1970s, it was a hit. The pie was a hit at picnics thanks to its bright orange color and zesty flavor. Since the 1960s, the recipe has been passed down via heirloom recipe cards and neighborhood cookbooks. Its easy-to-make, no-bake recipe was a hit with families and left a lasting impression on everyone who tried it. Then there was the salad made with hot dogs. You are missing out on something truly amazing if you haven't tried it. A creative take on the traditional barbecue was hot dog salad. In this dish, sliced hot dogs are combined with a variety of fresh vegetables such as onions, tomatoes, cucumbers, and lettuce, and they're all dressed with either a creamy dressing or a tart vinaigrette. It became popular as an inventive way to enjoy hot dogs that goes beyond the norm, appealing to people who want to add some flair to their summer menus. A delicious dish is produced when crisp, fresh vegetables are combined with hot dogs. It's one of those dishes you make when you want to try something new, and it never lets you down. Hot dogs can be an acceptable addition to a salad because of their sweetness and saltiness. While we're on the subject of salads, I immediately think of Spam salads. Chunks of Spam, the canned meat product that gained widespread recognition, are combined with a range of fresh and store-bought ingredients to make Spam salad. Dice the Spam into bite-sized pieces and toss it with pickles, chopped celery, hard-boiled eggs, and a creamy mayonnaise dressing to prepare. For optimal flavor, mix everything until thoroughly coated and refrigerate before serving. Spam salad gained popularity because it was so simple to make. Does anyone recall the catchphrase sizzle pork and ham? A mainstay at potlucks and picnics, Spam salad was distinguished by its distinctive blend. It was even more delicious in versions that had macaroni or peas added. Dinner was fantastic, with the crunchy veggies and creamy dressing complementing the salty Spam. Not only was it a tasty option, but it was also reasonably priced for families in the middle class. This dish was a perfect example of the convenience convenience food craze of the 1970s. Do you think you could try this again? Yes, I would. Popsicles are another summertime treat that I would give anything to bring back. Popsicles made people happy in the 1970s, young and old alike. These vibrant frozen confections were available in a range of fruity flavors, including lime, cherry, orange, and grape. Simply combine fruit juice or flavored drink mix with water, pour into molds, and freeze until solid to create a delightful and simple DIY popsicle. The first records of popsicles date back to the early 1900s, when an 11-year-old boy by accident created them. They were a common summertime sweet treat by the 1970s, frequently found in family freezers or served from ice cream trucks in the neighborhood. There was a catchphrase that stuck in my mind: if it's a popsicle, it's possible. Some families even got fancy and added yogurt or fruit chunks to their popsicle mixtures. For many people, there are happy memories of the simple pleasure of eating a popsicle on a hot day with sticky fingers and colorful tongues. One day, we ought to make them. How do you feel? And later on, perhaps some zucchini bread. All kidding aside, zucchini bread is a delightful treat that gave summer baking a scrumptious twist in the 1970s. Zest from a grated zucchini adds moisture and a light flavor to this quick bread. To make it, combine flour, sugar, eggs, oil, grated zucchini, and a dash of nutmeg and cinnamon. After mixing well, transfer batter to loaf pan and bake until toothpick inserted comes out clean and loaf pan is golden brown. During World War II, when families were urged to plant their own food, zucchini bread originated. During the 1970s, it gained popularity as a fantastic way to use up the plentiful summer zucchini harvest and elevate the otherwise unremarkable vegetable into a delectable dessert. I'll never understand why we stopped making it because it was so simple to make. Many families just ate it with butter smeared on top, but some even added raisins or almonds for more taste and texture. Ever wondered what a salad would have looked like in the 1970s? Indeed, they had items akin to the Watergate scandal. This sweet and tangy treat has a pistachio flavor and is made with instant pistachio pudding mix, crushed pineapple, mini marshmallows, and whipped topping. Its intriguing name is said to have come about during the Watergate scandal, which gave it an air of mystery and humor. There are those who claim it was named after the Watergate Hotel, while others think it was a lighthearted reference to the political controversy. Whatever its history, Watergate salad was a staple of summertime picnics and family get-togethers. It was typically served in a big bowl with a cherry on top for a little extra flair. Nutritionists find this type of dessert annoying, but if it makes you happy, go ahead and make a plate. We won't judge. Who knows? Maybe I'll even share my tapioca pudding with you. Wouldn't this melt in your mouth? Does anyone else miss it? Made with tapioca pearls, milk, sugar, and eggs, tapioca pudding has a delicious texture and a reassuring taste. It has a lengthy history, having started in a woman named Susan Staver's kitchen in South America. It was frequently served as a dessert by the 1970s. It's amusing to hear people call it old people's food these days, but why not bring it back? Old people's food tastes great. Just like I would happily devour a potato pancake right now, we would be content to eat old people's food once more. Latkes, or potato pancakes, were made with grated potatoes, eggs, onions, and a small amount of flour. These golden brown morsels were frequently eaten as an entree or even as a side dish. They originated in Eastern European cuisine, especially in Jewish communities, and gained a lot of popularity in the United States. Adding grated zucchini or carrots for extra taste and nutrition was one of the variations. Isn't this meal so perfect in every way? It's definitely coming back. Let's now investigate the other gems we misplaced over time. This is the imitation turtle soup. Ironically, the creators of this soup were attempting to replicate turtle meat, which they were no longer able to eat due to turtles' endangered status, despite the fact that there were no turtles in it. Fun fact, 15,000 turtles were transported annually from the West Indies to England in the 18th century, specifically for turtle soup. So when this recipe was developed, all the turtles that were left breathed a sigh of relief. It had become a nostalgic dish in American homes by the 1970s and was frequently found in family recipes. Turtle meat was replaced with a calf head. This is cooked with spices, herbs, and veggies like onions, carrots, and celery to make a filling broth. Flour is used to thicken mock turtle soup, and sherry is frequently added at the end to add more flavor. For extra authenticity, some versions even included organ meats or hard-boiled eggs. It tastes great, so it's definitely something we should bring back. Would you like to see any more foods from the 1970s on our channel? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. For more nostalgic journeys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video.